Imagine this. You wake up, stretch your arms, and suddenly your feet lift off the floor. Your coffee floats out of the cup, your phone rises like a helium balloon. For 10 whole seconds, gravity disappears. Yeah, 10 seconds, not long enough to become an astronaut, but long enough to cause absolute chaos. So, what would actually happen if Earth had zero gravity for just 10 seconds? First, let's get one thing straight. Gravity isn't just the thing that keeps you from flying away like a balloon. It's what holds the atmosphere down. It's what keeps the oceans from becoming giant Doodle, and it's what lets your cereal stay inside the bowl. So when gravity suddenly switches off, everything that isn't attached to the ground starts drifting upward. People, pets, pizza slices, cars on smooth roads, your neighbor's lawn chair, everything goes airborne. Even the air itself begins to rise. Not fast, but just enough for you to feel a weird vacuum tug in your chest, like the world suddenly forgot how to breathe. But here's the twist. You probably won't float that far. 10 seconds isn't enough time to drift into space or slam into the ceiling like in a cartoon. Most people might rise a few inches. Athletes who were mid-jump, maybe a couple of feet. Trampolines would briefly become launch pads from another dimension. The real danger happens with moving objects. A car driving at 60 miles per hour, without gravity pressing it to the road, it becomes a 4,000-pound hovercraft with terrible balance. Planes in midair lose their lift because, well, gravity isn't pulling air downward anymore. Pilots would feel like someone paused physics, and not in a fun way. And the oceans, they wouldn't fly into the sky, but their surfaces would bulge upward. Waves would swell strangely, and sea spray would drift like glitter. Boats would bob weirdly, no longer pulled tightly onto the water. Inside homes, the smallest disasters are the funniest. Open soda bottles would send floating carbonation bubbles everywhere. Shower water would bead into little spheres. Loose objects, pens, socks, keys would begin a tiny space program of their own. But then, the big moment arrives. At exactly 10 seconds, gravity snaps back on, and everything comes crashing down. Not hard enough to break bones everywhere, but hard enough to create a global thump noise. People drop, floating objects hit the floor, drinks splatter, pets land in very undignified positions, and every single phone that was midair, screen, cracked. Air also slams downward, creating a brief, planet-wide pressure wave kind of like Earth collectively exhaling. Oddly enough, the most dramatic result might be psychological. Imagine explaining to your boss why you're late because your car floated, or telling your friend you missed a text because your phone drifted into a ceiling fan. The takeaway: 10 seconds without gravity wouldn't destroy the world, but it would absolutely ruin the day. And maybe remind us how lucky we are that gravity doesn't usually take coffee breaks.